Hyeseong Kim suffered an injury in the WBC. We have the latest. Also, what are the final Dodgers roster questions that need to be answered in the next couple of weeks? We're talking USA, Mexico in the WBC, and Kiké Hernández had a bold comment about what the WBC means to him. We're also talking Ryan Ward. What's next for Ryan Ward? Will the Dodgers trade him? Will they keep him? All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade. We got it, Parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Tony starts the 50-50 club. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the _1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Dmac_LA. Today's show is brought to you by the LA Sports Report. Just did a jam-packed episode on the NFL free agent frenzy, the Rams, the Chargers. Talked a little Raiders for the Raider Nation out there. Also, a lot of Lakers, a lot of Dodgers. So go over and do me a huge favor. Subscribe to the LA Sports Report and GearUp.LA. If you want to get some merch, the season is fast approaching. Wear one of our shirts to opening day. That'd be pretty awesome. Lots of awesome gear over at GearUp.LA. So go check it out today. Supports the channel, supports the show, supports Noel, and most importantly, you get a fresh t-shirt. So definitely go over and do that. Today's Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, who is going to win the WBC? Who is going to win the WBC? Who is your pick to win? And right now, 36% have Team Samurai, Team Japan. 45% have the USA. 9% have the Dominican Republic. 10% are saying other. So, yeah, the WBC has gotten off to a really, really hot start. Lots of enthusiasm, lots of really awesome, incredible games. We'll talk a little about the WBC. This is a live show, by the way, so definitely drop comments throughout the show. Drop comments. If you're watching the game, we'll give you some updates as the game moves along here. So we'll talk a little bit about Dodgers spring training and the game itself that is going to have a first pitch here in just a few minutes. But drop some comments, and Noel, he'll have those for the show later on the 7th inning stretch. So there was so much to get into. Lots to get into. It's a Monday show. USA, Mexico tonight. Paul Skeens going up against veteran righty Manny Barreda. It's going to be exciting. Houston is out there in Trastros territory. Can't wait for that one. USA, Mexico tonight from Houston, the WBC. But there's so much to get into, not just in the world of Dodger baseball, but in the world of baseball. So let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so the first thing we're going to get into is we got an injury update on Hyeseong Kim. So Hyeseong Kim playing for Team Korea, he got injured on a play where we're going to take a look at it here. That doesn't look like it's serious or anything like that, but let's check it out. Here we go.
Hyeseong Kim takes off for second. Throw down. The slide. He's safe. Tying run in scoring position.
Love the decision. Love the jump also. A nice job with the lead by Hyeseong at first base.
So there you go right there. It doesn't seem like this is something that is serious or anything like that. He injures his left hand, and he has been heavily involved, and he's someone that team's going to rely on. So you like the fact that he's going all in, and he's definitely playing with that reckless abandon that we want to see him play with. But hopefully this doesn't impact his swing at the plate. There's nothing going to be lingering there. Dave Roberts has already said that Santiago Espinal is going to be hard to imagine him being left off the opening day roster. So if he, for whatever reason, would have to miss some time, we got Santiago Espinal that can play at second. Also, Alex Freeland, a switch hitting infielder, can play second base, can be third base, can play shortstop. Miguel Rojas, of course, he's back. He's someone that is not going to be your everyday player, but he's someone that certainly, if you need him to fill in some innings, he, of course, can play second, short, and third. And then Ryan Fitzgerald is back behind him, but still, they are definitely going to rely on Hyeseong Kim. I mean, it's pretty much a lock if he's healthy that he's going to get a lion's share of the reps at second base. And also, you're going to see him as your backup center fielder. Did you see any comments about it after Noel?
Not too much afterwards. All I saw was that while he was on the bench during the game, he was avoiding like clapping onto the finger whenever he would like cheer for his teammates. And then he took some pictures with like Jung Hoo Lee and some of his other teammates after the game. He didn't look like he was in crazy pain, just a wrap around his hand. It feels like something precautionary because, like you said, he's very important to that team. They're going to need him if they want to go on a run. And it was just incredible still seeing that team pull off what they did against Australia, even without him.
Yeah, incredible. And there's just so much passion and enthusiasm. And look, that is always going to be a part of the conversation when it comes to the WBC is these are players that are getting paid millions from their big league club, and the big league club in Major League Baseball have them playing in these games that is for something very significant, a WBC title. And all these countries want that. They want to play with their fellow countrymen. They want to represent their country. They want to wear that name with pride across their chest. But there is going to be injuries. That's just what happens. And thankfully, this is not something that's significant, but you just want to make sure that the momentum is there for the comment. And that's kind of the biggest thing for me is, look, will Team Korea win the WBC? Unlikely, but does he have things to build on? I mean, I think it was cool to see Shohei Ohtani clap for him from afar after he hit his home run. I like to see that. That was a nice moment that I'm sure the sirens went off for you, social media superstar, when you saw that, right? That was pretty cool. Man. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a great thing. And I think for Hyeseong Kim, just going to dive in a little bit about the differences this season. He went 6 for 13 in spring training. Dave Roberts said that what they've seen from him so far has been really, really good stuff, and it's a major improvement. Kim told me after the season that he wasn't happy about the year he had in his first season in the show, and that he was going to work hard all offseason to earn more playing time. And really the number one stat that you need to know about Hyeseong Kim early on the season is the contact rates. Remember, they're not asking him to be a silver slugger, an MVP, an all-star bat. They're asking for good, honest, competitive, consistent at-bats where he can act as the second leadoff hitter and get on base to give Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Tucker and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts some more run-scoring opportunities, as the Dodgers' bottom of the lineup last year was not very productive. Last season, Hyeseong Kim, he stepped onto the scene, and he was fantastic. That first month of the year for Kim, he hit 383 in his first 36 games in the show. After that, from July to the end of the season, he hit 175. He dealt with a shoulder injury. In the postseason, they only used him defensively and as a pinch runner. Still a role, but clearly it's the bat that's the biggest question with Hyeseong Kim. And last year, he hit 280, which is okay. You'd say, all right, I'll take 280. But then you look deeper, and it was a below average OPS, a 699 OPS. And then the biggest number that you need to know to evaluate Kim early on the season is how does that strikeout rate look? A 30.6% strikeout rate, that was not the number you're hoping for him. That's not the contact rate. That really speaks to him not getting on base enough. And it's really interesting what they've said about his swing and what they went and worked on this offseason. Kim said, I found out about some things I need to work on. I just want to work hard and make sure that I make the roster right off the bat after spring training. So when we caught up with Kim a couple of weeks ago, he told us that it's his dream to be the opening day starting second baseman for a big league club. And the truth is that he would not be able to realize that dream unless they made some pretty significant adjustments to his swing. And some of these adjustments are pretty interesting. Aaron Bates, the Dodgers hitting coach, he talks about how there was these holes in his swing that were closed up. And Dave Roberts talked about that too, that the hitting guys have looked at the mechanics and they've tried to identify holes and correct those holes. So you look at the home run that he hit on the 0-2 count where there was a sweeper inside. He was able to barrel it up. That shows you that he can be competitive against pitches all throughout the zone. And what they talked about for him was that from his swing and trying to fix things in that swing, that they realized that there just wasn't a good balance there. Aaron Bates said that when he's basically letting the ball travel and he can make decisions later on each swing, that's when he's on his best approach. So I'm hoping for Hyeseong Kim to really have a good year. I think that when you look at the contract he's on, you shouldn't have this, he's a guy that it should be expected to put up 30 home runs or anything like that. This is a role player, but role players are very important to this team. And I still think that Kim is going to be the surprise breakout player for the Dodgers offensively this season. I really do. I think that the body, the physicality, the just overall adding of the muscles that he did, that's going to allow him to hit for some more power. And I think that this adjustment that he's made with his swing, I think that it's going to pay dividends. I think things are going to click. So we've got, here we go. We got Matt DeBeast. Dmac, imagine WBC broadcasted at Dodgers Stadium. That'd be pretty awesome. I think we're going to have the Olympics there a couple of years from now. 499 super chat. Give me some love right here. This injury could have happened in spring training. I care more about Kim getting some competitive at-bats. Yeah, I mean, look, you're not going to face the best pitch in the WBC, but what you are going to be facing is pitching when there are a lot of fans in the stands, and you're facing pitching in meaningful at-bats, and that's something that certainly the WBC can provide that even the most competitive spring training games might not. Like, there's a lot of nerves and there's a mental side to this game that is something that it really, I think, allows players to really play in an almost postseason, even more than postseason like atmosphere. So I think that it's really, really beneficial for them to be able to get those at-bats in those situations. So yeah, he's definitely going to be on the roster. I don't think this changes that at all. Okay, switching gears, we're going to talk some more spring training, but I definitely wanted to touch on Kiké Hernández's comments that really went viral, like a lot of Kiké Hernández comments do. His comments about the WBC and how important it is to him and what it means to him. Kiké did provide an answer in Spanish, and it's not necessarily a one-to-one translation, but the general message behind what he was saying, comparing Major League Baseball to the WBC, was Kiké was translated and said, I played in 5 World Series. I don't know if it's because of what's across my chest, but the classic feels above that. The classic feels above that. And there were a lot of fans that weren't happy about this. They were trying to say that, Kiké is in some way elevating the WBC and making it seem like it's bigger than the World Series. The truth is it doesn't matter what we think, what I think, what you think about what Kiké Hernández said about this, because that's how Kiké Hernández feels about this. So the truth is if someone wants to represent their country and has pride in representing their country, yeah, if that means more to them than winning a World Series, who are we to say that that's not how they feel? They're just telling us how they feel. Is he not being honest about that? in his brain? Is he saying, no, we know that you think the World Series means more, but just go say the WBC means more? No. Look, I'll never forget a couple years ago when Trey Turner hit a home run for the WBC, for Team USA in the WBC tournament. He said that was the biggest moment of his life. I'll never forget just players, even the greats, even ones that aren't the All-Stars too, when they represent their country, it just means something to them. I'll never forget when I was watching the Redeem Team and all those guys, Coach K telling them, hey, this is the most important game of your life. And these are guys that have played in the NBA Finals, but winning gold for the Olympics was the most important game of their life. I think, to me, my takeaway isn't, oh, why is Kiké saying that? His number one priority should always be the Dodgers, and the Dodgers World Series trumps everything. Look, the dude's played in 5 World Series. He's won multiple World Series. He experiences that feeling. I think a lot of this has to do, and I watched that game. It was an incredible game. Panama and Puerto Rico. Like, look, I'm sure there's a lot of Puerto Ricans that go to Dodgers games, but I guarantee you there was not as many Puerto Ricans at Dodger Stadium as there are at that stadium. And look, that's your people, man. Like, those are your family, your extended family. Those are people you grew up around. Those are your aunts, uncles, and cousins, and grandparents, and brothers and sisters, and the friends of them. Like, look, your country is everything, right? So I think for Kiké, my takeaway is not, oh, like, lock in, dude. It's always the Dodgers World Series. It's more like, hey, like, this tournament means a lot to these guys. It really does. I've seen people say that, oh, this is an exhibition tournament. This is a made for TV, made by Major League Baseball tournament where they're just trying to use it as some cash grab, or they're trying to make it their version of the World Cup. Look, the bottom line is when they compete for this and your country is represented, guys are going to be extremely passionate about that. And the big takeaway here is this is great for baseball. Like, this is incredible for baseball. Just think about this. When the World Cup first came around, it wasn't this massive event like it is today. But through time and through people competing in it, it became this, look, there's nothing bigger than the World Cup. Like, the World Cup, literally the World Cup final, viewership-wise, is like 15 Super Bowls rolled into one as far as overall eyeballs go. So the truth is that this is really exciting for the future of Major League Baseball. And I do not fault Kiké Hernández for saying what he said, because Kiké is going to do Kiké, and he's going to always unapologetically be himself. And that doesn't mean that the World Series doesn't mean a lot to him. That doesn't mean that the World Series doesn't mean everything to him too. But it just means that, hey, like, look, without Puerto Rico, there is no Kiké Hernández. And if he wants to say that playing for Puerto Rico is the highest thing in the level above the World Series, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I've been absolutely blown away with the fan support. I mean, that Panama, the crowd for Puerto Rico Panama was more engaged than, I'm going to say, 75% of Major League Baseball postseason games. Like, it was that insane. Like, you had just the look of terror on those Puerto Rican fans' faces when they're like, oh my goodness, we're going to lose. Or they were just living and dying with every pitch. Like, you guys can say what you want. I can say whatever I want. The truth is that the people that support this, it means a lot to them. And I think that for the United States, they haven't shown the enthusiasm I think that some of the other countries just tend to show. But that doesn't mean it's not in there. I know people are definitely harsh on what Bryce Harper said about, hey, the WBC is not the Olympics. And I said on my show earlier today that someone reached out to me, a source that said that part of the reason why Bryce Harper said that was because there's a plan to try to get Major League Baseball players in the Olympics in 2028. And that's going to be a part of the new CBA. So that was an opportunity to kind of push for that. So he kind of took the backlash, but he did it for the players. So, I mean, at first I thought that was an L take, but then just hearing people and sources tell me otherwise, it kind of changed my opinion on that. So I think this has been great for the game. I think it's been extremely exciting. I think they're still trying to figure this thing out. But I will say that this whole idea that my hope for this, here's my hope. And look, if Bryce Harper had come out and said what a lot of hockey players said, where the Olympic gold was more important than the Four Nations tournament for hockey, he wouldn't have really gotten the backlash that he did. But my hope is that the WBC is far more superior than the Olympics. I think the goal for baseball should be that the Olympics is the Olympics. When you think of the Summer Olympics, like, you want to be the biggest and best, right? No one ever is going to put baseball ahead of women's gymnastics, in swimming, in the 100-meter final, in track and field. When I think Olympics, that's what I think of. I think of events like that. And I guarantee you baseball will never, ever, 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 ever get close to those marquee events, right? And take soccer, for example. Soccer is a massive global sport, right? How many people watched the final for the Olympics, the gold medal game, the last Olympics? A little over 9 million people watched that. 1.5 billion people watched the World Cup. So there is a plan. That's the path I think that you should take with this tournament. Is you want the World Cup to be the WBC, and the Olympics can be the Olympics. The Olympics is the middle of the season. Like, my issue with the Olympics is, how can we even guarantee fully healthy rosters? And you're basically messing with rosters during the season. And here's the thing. When I hear the awesome John Williams theme for NBC, like, I don't think baseball. Like, I just don't. Like, and when I think of the WBC, I think baseball now. And I think that's where it's kind of gone. I really have. But Noel, I don't know about you. And I'm surprised, but what before it started, I was like, okay. But since it started, like, I think the only way you could describe this tournament, it's been absolutely electric.
It's been electric. I think getting the locations to be along with Houston, USA, and Japan again. I mean, bringing Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, having those teams play in front of their home crowds, it's been incredible. Those fans, seeing those guys come home that they've watched all through their lives, go to MLB, become superstars, and then all team up back together and put on a show for everyone. There's really nothing like it. The energy in the crowd, the presence online, Shohei hitting that grand slam, and the highlight in 13 hours, having like twice the amount of views that like Freddie's grand slam in 2024 World Series got is crazy.
Exactly. I mean, I saw that too. I think it was Ava, right? I think you saw a reel talking about that as well. It's like the social media. I mean, first of all, though, you know what I didn't like about that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I didn't like about that. People, so this is what people were saying, right? Where they were saying that Shohei's grand slam in the WBC had so many more millions of views and likes than Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam in the World Series, right? That's not apples to apples. We need that compared to what a Shohei Ohtani walk-off grand slam in the World Series would be, okay? Because like Shohei, we love Freddie, and Freddie's the GOAT too, right? In our eyes, in a lot of different in the postseason. But like, look, that's like trying to compare something to something else. Like,
something that I noticed too is like you mentioned Shohei, like that first game that we were up covering it when he hit that grand slam. Anytime like I tweeted something about Shohei, it was instantly getting like hundreds of likes. And that like usually during Dodger games that happens, you know, like anything Shohei is gonna pop off, especially when he has a big play or when he does something cool like a celebration. But the entire country of Japan was tuned into that game, and they were online just waiting for anything. They were just like anything that said Shohei, they were going and engaging with it.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, like it just means a lot. Like what 12 to 20 million people watch Game 7 of the World Series in Japan. Last WBC, 62 million people watched the WBC final. So like, yeah, like guess what? Like breaking news, people like watching sports where their country's name is on there. And
exactly. I saw too that the Dominican Republic, do you know their population?
It's like less than 20 million, right?
It's like 11 million.
Yeah.
So the fact that they produce like
I've been to I was a part of that population for like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, because I lived there. I guess the visit there is technically living there, right?
Yeah.
Went to a rum factory, went to some of the baseball fields, went to some of the academies. Like baseball, like the Dominican Republic, it's an absolute, they call it la sangre. When you got the blood of the baseball player.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. And like dudes there, it's like, bro, like it's unreal, a part of the culture. But yeah, I think what I was saying too about Shohei Ohtani is when you look at, I always talk about this Michael Jordan element. And I remember I asked Dave Roberts, hey, can Shohei be the Michael Jordan of baseball? And he told me, yeah, he can, but he needs championships, multiple.
Yeah.
Like he needs a dynasty. Well, not only are you getting the pro baseball MLB championships, the World Series, but also the globalization of the game, the WBC. And we saw Michael Jordan in Barcelona, the dream team. He was the face of that. That spawned generations of baseball fans from other countries. I mean, basketball fans from other countries, people that didn't know what the sport was that picked it up and it turned to pros. Like, would there be a Luka Doncic and a Nikola Jokic and a Wembanyama without Jordan 92? I mean, it's an interesting conversation, right?
True.
And I think you look at Shohei Ohtani, like part of that and that globalization of the game is something that just transcends. I think that he's certainly going to get a lot of credit for doing this because he is the face of this tournament. He's the face of this sport. And I think that he raises the level of play. Like we'll talk about kind of the Dominican Republic and there's all these, everyone's trying to stir the pot with them, right?
Yeah.
They took Shohei's green tea off the podium, right? And Juan Soto's whispering things to Vladimir Guerrero. And then Vladdy has a shirt that has like Japanese a saying on it or something like that. Like everyone's trying to stir the pot. Guess what? You don't need to stir the pot. The USA knows this. Paul Skeens and all of them know that. Vladdy and Soto and all that. They're all chasing one guy because they're the reigning champs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was saying when I woke up, I set the alarm and I was like, all right, let's turn it on. And like, I was like, maybe I'll watch it for a second. Boom! Grand slam. Like
Right away.
my man woke me up at 2 a.m. like I had like 3 Celsius. Was that thing I always drink?
Yeah,
Like,
Celsius, yes.
Yeah, like I was pounding Celsius. And I don't care that it said Japan on his jersey. It could have said Krypton, right? Because the dude's a Superman. Like he can deliver on a stage when fans are looking for it. And I think that like there's just a part of like there's just something about like, dude, like I'm performing for my country.
Exactly.
Like there's a reason why, hey, I always see people, hey, Shohei, he doesn't need an interpreter. Why don't you just answer the question in English? You know why? Because he wants his fans in Japan to get his answer first, right? Because those are your day one of all day one. So, I mean, let me know down below in the comment section. 1, let me know who you have winning the WBC. 2, what are your thoughts on Kiké's comments? Do you have any issue with Kiké? Someone's got to be bold. I'm going to Miami next week. MLB hasn't sent me the approval yet, so I don't know. I might just go to the parking lot there, try to catch them in. But if
Sneaking in.
the bold move would be ask Shohei, hey, Kiké said this about the WBC. You kind of put it on the spot there. You really are.
Yeah.
But that would be a really good haymaker of a question for Shohei. Hey, your Dodgers teammate has won the WBC ahead of the World Series. And like, what would you have as that? Like you've won 2 World Series now, right? I mean, here's who you couldn't ask that question to. Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. They've never been or won the World Series, but yeah, that's going to be the matchup that we want to see. Japan, the DR, Puerto Rico. I mean, it's just been awesome. I just think at the end of the day, if you love this game, if you support baseball, then you need to be supporting the WBC. Period, point blank, because it helps grow the sport that you and I both love. We got Gabriella, WBC, World Blue Council. So many people in Japan showed up for the Dodgers tryouts. Love it. Yeah, I think that was like the Chuchini, was it the Dragons or something? Like, so they were also blue. There was a guy right behind home plate wearing a Dodgers hat for yesterday's. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Like, that you've stepped your game up, you've elevated when you're like a fashion item. Like, you're like a status symbol. Like, how many people that wear Yankees hats are Yankees fans, right? Like, how many people that wear Dodgers hats are Dodgers fans, right? All right, so got some more comments here. Matt, is there any update from the game?
No update just yet. 0-0, bottom of the first.
0-0, bottom of the first. Yeah, look, spring training still in full swing. Let's do some spring training talk right now. Talk some spring training and let's talk some roster stuff. So the Dodgers, they made a couple moves, really, as far as the the send downs. It's always in big type of moves as far as, hey, you're early on and you got to find a way to get these guys reps, but at some point you got to make sweeping roster moves. And the Dodgers certainly did that. And one of the ones that we were looking at was, what will they do with Ryan Ward? Well, the Dodgers on Sunday, they made their second round of roster cuts. They sent 12 players down to the minor league camp, including Josue DePaula, top prospect, Ryan Ward, Ronan Kopp, both guys that were added to the 40-man roster in November. They were optioned to AAA. And then the other 10 players, they were cut. They were non-roster invitees. So they were sent to the minor league side of camp. You had pitchers Carlos Duran, Carson Hobbs, Garrett McDaniels, Jackson Ferris, Wyatt Mills, Jordan Weems, Lucas Wepf, and you had catcher Griffin Lockwood Powell, and then you had Kendall George and Josue DePaul. So this is the first round of the cut since they sent 11 players to the minor leagues down on March 2nd. And there's really not too many ground shaking takeaways from this. DePaula, he got some really good reps in. And Josue DePaula, he actually leads the Dodgers this year with 15 games played. He's played every single one since the Dodgers started on February 21st. He also was in the Team Mexico matchup last Wednesday. I think it was a good showing for DePaula. I really did. 9 of 27. He had 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. The bat continues to improve. The only guy that really didn't get any reps was Wepf. Lucas Wepf didn't get really any reps in a big league game. But now the Dodgers, you have 51 players on that minor league camp roster, 26 pitchers and 25 position players. So the guy I want to focus on, though, is Ryan Ward. So Ryan Ward was really kind of one of those, hey, I have a shot to play, but then what happened? But let's rewind here. Brandon Gomes said early in the offseason that Ryan Ward was getting an opportunity to play. What did they do after Brandon Gomes said that? Well, they signed the best outfielder available in Kyle Tucker. And after that, Andy Pages, he's your center fielder. Hyeseong Hernandez doesn't get traded. He stays in left. Rightfully so. That was always the move. But then behind him, you have Alex Call. And those are your 4 rostered outfielders. I can say that with 100% confidence that it's going to be Kyle Tucker, Andy Pages, Hyeseong Hernandez, and Alex Call. And then Hyeseong Kim can provide that backup option in center field for Andy Pages. So Ryan Ward, unfortunately, once again, is the odd man looking out. And Ward told Bill Plunkett of the Southern California News Group about his frustration. And I don't think this is necessarily aimed towards the organization, but he is on the older side. He's 28 years old, and there's really nothing else that he can do down at the AAA level to improve his stock. I mean, last year, he had 290. He had a 380 on base, 557 slug, 31 doubles, 6 triples, and 36 home runs, and 122 RBIs in 143 games. And he was going to be a minor league free agent, but the Dodgers added him to that 40-man roster, which could potentially lead to them trading Ryan Ward. And he told Bill Plunkett, quote, I mean, it's frustrating for sure, but I just use those 2 years to get better. If you look at 2024 and 2025, I made a lot of changes. I was able to become a more well-rounded hitter, especially with strikeouts. That went down, walks went up, got on base more, tried stealing some more bases, and just continue to try and get better every day and using all that time down there to continue playing and get better. He would go on to say that he did hear Brandon Gomes' comments, and we had him on this show. I had him on this show in the offseason. I told him about Brandon Gomes' comments, and he said he was excited about it, but he did say about that potential opportunity, quote, I was obviously hoping, but I try not to think about it too much because then I'm putting too much pressure on myself and negative thoughts start to creep in. And last year, that was a good group too. I had a lot of really good friends on that team, so it was easy to kind of forget about it and just enjoy playing and have fun and focus where we were. That's kind of the mentality on it. To leave all that out, obviously it's going to creep in. I can't help it, but I tried to keep it out of there and get it out as fast as I can. So I really appreciate these comments from Ryan Ward. I really genuinely do. This is a player that's being honest and upfront about the reality of being a young player with potential in this organization. It cannot be easy. I mean, just imagine this. You're an awesome college player. You're an amazing high school player. You get drafted by the Dodgers and you're like, look at this roster. Where do I fit in? Like, where do I fit in? I mean, it's the Avengers. Like, what's my superpower? How do I crack a roster that's Kyle Tucker, that is one of the top 15 best players in this league, top 10 when he's right? How can I overcome Hyeseong Hernandez, who's quite simply a top 5 hitter against lefties and one of the best rakers in this league when he's right, a 30 homer guy, an all-star, a silver slugger. And guess what? He doesn't play center field. And Andy Paz is there, and Andy Paz is hitting home runs. Andy Paz is hitting 27 home runs at the major league level and is flirting with an all-star nod. And then you look at the bench, you ask yourself, well, if I'm coming off the bench, how am I supposed to prove that I can hit the big league level? And Alex Call has solidified that role. So I have to admit, I really respect and appreciate Ryan Ward's comments, but he's got to want to be traded. He's got to want another opportunity with another team, because at some point it gets to the what if, and hey, I'm closer to 30 than 20, and you kind of just have to set him free. So I would expect the Dodgers to possibly look at dealing him at some point. You're not going to get much in return. And at that point, you tap into your depth. But the truth is, I mean, he's on their roster and he's down there, and he could be an injury or two away from getting opportunity. But here's the truth about Ryan Ward and the Dodgers this year. That if Ryan Ward is playing for the Dodgers in the show, something bad happened. Kyle Tucker got injured. Teoscar got injured. Andy Paz got injured. Alex Call got injured. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those guys are struggling beyond belief. Like, Ryan Ward on the Dodgers this year is not a good thing. And it really makes you wonder, what is the best thing for Ryan Ward? I mean, it's kind of wild, right? Noel, I mean, he's a great guy. Like, I mean, he's such a nice guy. I've spoken to him a couple different times. He's from Boston. And he just is got to be wondering, like, when is that opportunity? Like here, he is good enough to get an opportunity at the big league level. The Dodgers just don't have that opportunity for him. For a young guy, I mean, put yourself in that spot right there. Like, what are you thinking if you're Ryan Ward? Like, do you just keep that smile on saying my day's going to come? Or does at some point you're like, hey, man, just get me out of here. Like, I know it's the Dodgers, but like, I'd rather get 200 at-bats on the Rockies than no at-bats on the Dodgers, right? Things like that.
Yeah, he's being really mature about it.
That's a good word. Yeah.
He's been able to play in a championship clubhouse, been able to learn from a lot of great superstars over the years, and be in a developmental system that really cares about who he's going to become. But yeah, at a certain point, it kind of reminds me of Michael Busch a couple of years ago. The Dodgers knew his talent, knew that he was ready to play. They just didn't have room for him. So at the time, they went and sent him on. So, I mean, we could see that with Ryan Ward, and I think that's what the Dodgers ultimately will do, because like you said, if he is, playing, if he's on the roster, if he's in games consistently, something went wrong.
Certainly. I think that's a fantastic reference there, is that, look, Michael Busch is a guy that just didn't have a spot defensively on this team. But look, you kind of heard the same things from minor league scouts that you hear from Ryan Ward. It's like, dude, like, I don't care where you put this guy, is he can hit. Now, the question I have, though, about Ryan Ward would be, hey, how much did this impact you in spring training? Like, did this impact you at the plate? Because the best case scenario for Ryan Ward was, hey, sure, I get it, there's no opportunities, but at least I'm making the most of my opportunities. And Ryan Ward in 12 games this spring went 5 for 32, hit 156, had a 182 on base, a 219 slug, and a 401 OPS. So they gave him opportunities. Ryan Ward has the most at-bats on the team, tied with Zach Earhart in spring training. He has just 32 at-bats. That's right up there at the top. And unfortunately, he didn't make the most of those opportunities. So it's not like he's forcing the issue. It's not like he's screaming, hey, I did it at AAA. I'm doing it in spring training. Give me my shot or trading. It's like he didn't make the most of the opportunities. And I'm wondering how much of that creeped into his performance this spring. I don't think it did necessarily because guys just kind of get off to slow starts. 32 at-bats is extremely small sample relative to a normal season. But I think it at least is worth asking. And then you compare that to a guy that I would say is building the most buzz at Dodgers spring training for a guy that could contribute this season, and that is James Tibbs III. James Tibbs III, in the same amount of at-bats, essentially, 3 less, 29 to Ward's 32, James Tibbs hitting 310, 394 on base, slugging 621. I mean, look at that slug right there. And then the OPS, a 982 OPS. I mean, James Tibbs has 9 hits, a double, a triple, and 2 home runs. And here's the thing about Ryan Ward is even if another guy either was injured or was struggling, Ryan Ward wouldn't be the first guy that would make sense right now. It would be James Tibbs. So James Tibbs is the guy that is really getting a lot of opportunities. He's making the most of them. And he's a guy that just kind of looks like he's ready to get that shot. And we'll see what it looks like for him. And you know what's crazy about this is so wild that the Dodgers do this. This truly is the Jesse Pinkman meme from Breaking Bad. You can't keep getting away with this. How's he getting away with this? Like, how is Andrew Friedman, not Walter White, getting away with this? Where'd they get James Tibbs III? Was it in the draft? No. They got him in a trade for Dustin May. I mean, like, that's insane to me. I mean, what the funny thing about this, too, is essentially you're getting him from the Giants because he was included in that Rafael Devers deal that sent Devers from Boston to San Francisco. He goes to Boston, and in Boston, they send him to LA in the Dustin May deal. And guess what? Dustin May was never in the Dodgers' plans for the future. He's actually the highest paid pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, highest paid player overall. They were never going to give him that kind of money. So you basically got something from someone that you were not going to get anything from. And all of a sudden, it's James Tibbs that is stepping up. And yeah, everything you've heard about him is really great. He actually he was at Florida State, made his way through. And that's going to be the first guy they'll get an opportunity in the outfield. And James Tibbs right now, if you look at the Dodgers' top prospects, he comes in at 11th in the last top 30 for them. You got Josue DePaula at 1, Zaire Hope at 2, Eduardo Quintero at 3, Mike Sirota at 4. Sirota's another guy who is going to need some time, but another promising outfield prospect. Emil Morales at 5, River Ryan at 6, Jackson Ferris at 7, Alex Freeland at 8, Charles Davalon at 9, Christian Zuzetta. I like this guy. Right-handed pitcher. He's 10th, and James Tibbs at 11. But that just looking at his overall upside. I think what he actually contributes to this list for this upcoming season, I mean, River Ryan is definitely going to be the biggest contributor out of that group no matter what. But if we're making a list of the top Dodgers prospects that are actually going to potentially help them three-peat this season, 1 is River Ryan with the bullet, no doubt about that. 2 could be Alex Freeland, depending on if he gets a shot earlier, if there's an injury. They like him as a switch hitter, really good at defense, still needs to prove his bat like a lot of young players do. But then 3, I think the debate is, James Tibbs or Jackson Ferris. I mean, there is a path for Jackson Ferris possibly later in the season, but James Tibbs, I think, is ahead of him on that list. So I'm going River Ryan 1, Jackson Ferris 2. I mean, River Ryan 1, Alex Freeland 2, James Tibbs 3, and then Jackson Ferris 4. So, hey, there is a world where you could see him this year. And then right after that, it's Ryan Ward. And Ryan Ward is currently their 20th ranked prospect in the organization. But all right, guys, that's the outfield roster right now. 100% lock. I'm ready to completely lock that one in. Tucker, Pages, Teo, and Alex Call with Hyeseong Kim as your backup center fielder. Tomorrow, we'll do the infield, but that's the 100% lock. All right, let's get the 7th inning stretch. All your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue. We'll get an update from the game, if there's any update. That's going next on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
Okay. We got Krista Helicopter, Fit Check Dmac. Do you have a lucky shirt or hat? It's a good question. I would say any of my Rain Spooner Dodgers shirts that have all the logos on it are definitely a lucky shirt, but my lucky vest is my gray vest that I wore throughout the postseason. I wore it in game 3 when they came back and they won that game. So yeah, the gray vest was good to me. I wore it for game 4 of the NLDS when they beat the Phillies. That gray one has been pretty solid for sure. I go with my gray one. As far as hats go, I don't really have a lucky hat, I guess. I mean, I switch them up. The gray Dodgers Nation hat's definitely my preferred one. I have the Murakami with the Dodgers fitted with the Murakami on it. I really like my first World Series hat. Actually, I love that hat. The snapback they wore, the first one with the gold. That one's a banger. Yeah. With the trophy in the middle. Yeah. I got to get the new one with the pins. It's like I want to take the pin off because I don't want the pin on there and I don't want to overpay for the pin. I might just buy and sell the pin on Facebook Marketplace for $5. Should I do that? I'm about to do that. All right, we got did you have a lucky jersey, Noel? Like, I know you don't do hats, but
I have lucky like polo shirts. Like when I've worn certain polo shirts and like I've done interviews, they've gone well.
Interesting.
Like polos,
so which one is it?
It's a brown tan one.
A brown tan one.
Brown tan one, and then I complement it with some. I have some black slacks, or I go khaki and I just go like all like kind of brown tan.
I like it. It's just kind of discreet, but it gets the job done.
Exactly.
Right. I love it. All right, we got JY Kim. My only question is whether it's better to hold the WBC in the spring or in the summer, i.e., replace the All-Star games. It'll be interesting if they are going to have discussions. Like I talked about that a little earlier. Like once you're in the season, you're kind of in the season. But I mean, if we take the World Cup as the comparison there, the World Cup's in the middle of the summer, and that typically is a time period where like the Premier League's over, the Champions League's over. So I kind of want to see it where it's kind of baseball's so different because you can't just every sport you got to warm up, right? You got to definitely ramp up. But baseball, as far as pitching ramp ups, it's a little different. You got to literally build yourself up to be able to execute a certain amount of pitches without getting injured. So I think that's a little different there, but I kind of like it where it's at. To me, if I had the pick, I like the WBC to start the year because those players are basically playing in what would be spring training games. And I think too, it's like they have a clean slate towards, like maybe when the season starts, they get injured or not. I mean, we're talking about 7 games, right? We're talking about a short amount of games relative towards a 162 game season, but I like it. I mean, you look at these spring training games, and trust me, I'm a sicko like you. I'll pull up and I'll watch 9 innings of a spring training game if I have nothing to do, but I kind of prefer watching these games with I love the pageantry and enthusiasm for the countries. I love when people represent their countries. I love what I've seen, especially from the Latin American countries, but even honestly, like the Taiwan and Taipei and every country has really brought it. I think if there's one country you could probably show a little, if there was one country that could probably step their game up a little bit, it's old US of A, right? But it's okay. We'll get there. We're waiting for the later rounds to bring our best. But I don't know. I actually think that it's in a good time of the calendar. If you're going to have this thing, I like it where it's at.
I agree because, like you said, everybody waiting for competitive baseball. It just comes like weeks earlier than versus the season started off on March 26th. And, the weather's good. They pick all these locations on purpose. It's kind of like you just get that itch. Everybody's just waiting for opening day. And boom, you watch a lot of the team's top stars competing for their countries, playing really passionate baseball.
And I think for the players too, like think about someone like Paul Skeens, right? Like Paul Skeens will get the buzz on opening day. He'll probably get the buzz for the All-Star game. He'll probably get the buzz if he starts on a road game against the Dodgers or something like that. But my man's is going to go like months and months and months pitching in front of empty stadiums, right? Like, I think it's good for someone like a Paul Skeens, some of these teams that don't get to play in the World Series like the Dodgers basically get to do every year. So I totally agree. All right, do some more. We got some more down below. Sheriff, for a lot of these players, this is truly their World Series. This is the best level of competition they will ever. You know what I'm going to hit up tonight? I'm going to hit my guy Carlos Baerga. Have you seen Carlos Baerga on social?
Yes,
like,
sir.
So I got a chance to kind of hang out with him a little bit down in Orlando, and this dude is like, he just keeps it like 100. I think it'd be interesting to ask him, like, hey, like your Kiké said, is that how all these guys feel, right? And like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like, yeah, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, but it'll be interesting. But just for the record, I mean, it'll be. Andy Chen says, why are baseball stadiums the coolest places to be? Because they're full of fans. I think that, and also just everything about a baseball stadium experience.
Did you catch the joke? They're fans.
Oh,
pulling down the stadium.
Okay. I'll show myself out. You know what the funny thing is? I was just going to be like, really? Because my brain naturally was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's because they're filled of, because the enclosed stadiums are filled with air conditioners. But yeah, I mean, we got Sheriff Bart. For a lot of these players, we have BC. Unlike any other sport, the World Cup final is watched by way more people outside of the countries involved than inside. Yeah, we got Senior Jefe, Orale, Noel representing the Mexico jersey. Yeah, getting a lot of love. That is a real banger of a jersey, by the way.
It is. I love the back is my favorite with the lucha.
Let's check it out. Yes.
The one this year is pretty cool too. I saw they haven't dropped all of their promotional night, Heritage Night jerseys just yet, but we got a couple first looks and they're looking nice.
It feels like a Noel reel.
Definitely.
That feels like I cannot wait to see that one. Senior Heavy, Dmac, Kim's future doing the pepper grinders in doubt. Yeah, I took some heat for doing the pepper grinder celebration. Dandrum Brito, imagine you got back-to-back your childhood. Imagine if you got to go back-to-back your childhood crew and win a championship with all of your crew from the old neighborhood. I think that's what's special about the WBC. Yeah, Dandrum, you hit on the nail right there. But these guys, here's the thing though, like yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, and I think that's awesome. And I totally think that there is that. And I mentioned that earlier, but let's not forget too, that the WBC is a couple of weeks. A major league season is half a year, 162 games plus 32 spring training games plus a postseason. Hey, by the World Series, they're your family. You see them more than you do your real family. Those guys are in tight spaces together. I mean, they always talk about a brotherhood right there. And what's really interesting too is actually, I was saying this on the other show, is I think if you ask NHL players if you could have a Stanley Cup versus a gold medal, I think they'd take the Stanley Cup. I really do. Like, I mean, like the Stanley Cup is. I'll never forget when I saw this hockey player Chris Chelios doing an NBC broadcast, and he couldn't even look at the thing because it made him break out into tears because he would never be able to have that feeling. Like, both things can be awesome, man. Like you know, it's like you can win multiple things. I don't think this is like an NBA Cup, NBA. I will say this: the WB championship is worth a trillion times more than the NBA Cup is, right? But you get your country involved though, right? Sheriff, Kim's injury isn't going to be nearly as consequential as Andre Ether's career-ending foul ball off the shin. Hopefully, is going to bring the confidence he had going into the WBC to this season. I think that for Kim, he can just really feel that roster spot on the opening roster. Like, he knows it's within his grasp. And at this point, It's just not losing it. Justin Lamas, hey, Dmac, I just lost my appeal on my second Hollywood Lifestyle suspension, and I will now be suspended for 162 games. Oh, wow. Yeah. Dirksen Profar, man. Insane stuff. Like I said, when he got suspended, it was like going and testing positive, and then on your way back to your car, you do PEDs again, and then you get popped again. Hey, the third time, that'll be it. R. Carino, Dmac, my goat, rocking the night shirt. Okay, you guys like this one? Here for the Mexico-USA game wearing my Dodger gear. It's going to be so exciting to see that tonight. We've got Sheriff. Mexico has the best home run celebration with the luchador mask and the wrestling blazer. They knocked it out of the park. They were like, you got to give them credit for that one.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite celebration from the World Baseball Classic so far?
Man, I do. What's the one that Japan does where they go like that thing? Have you seen that? Where they do that flex, after the home runs?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh yeah, like they were doing that when they were walking to the thing. I like all the. I mean, I think the Team Japan's thing is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
but honestly, like what does the DR do? Like
DR, they put on the jacket,
that jacket thing.
And they do like the selfie.
The selfie. Yeah. I feel like everyone's celebration is like who they are. Like I feel like the DR is very fitting for the DR. I think Japan's showing a little more personality than I expected them to show, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I will say the one that doesn't have the aura is the USA one. Yeah. Just like they're sitting there doing like a lazy salute.
Yeah.
Like USA is the one that I think could use a jump start, but I think that's kind of like a little bit. It's kind of a narrative early on, but it almost reminds me of the Dodgers a couple years ago when it's like, oh, they're not having fun. The dugout. It's like, dude. Like they're waiting. They know. Let's not forget. Like all this hype on all these teams. The Team USA is still the favorites to win. Like they are the betting favorites to win, and they got Paul Skeens on the mound tonight. So it's going to be very exciting. So a couple more comments here. Couple more comments, and then we will hit the walk-up. Best celebration is the whole stands yelling USA, USA. That always goes hard. Foxy Cinnamon says the matcha stirring is funny. I like that one. Exactly. We got Go Mexico. We got Sheriff. We've got Matcha. Let's go USA tonight. Profar's a funny dude. Paul. Yeah, absolutely. But all right, guys, we are running out of time. Let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
All right, today for the walk-off, the top 100 players from ESPN has been released, and the Dodgers are very well represented. Shohei Ohtani comes in at the number 1 spot. Kyle Tucker at 15. Yoshinobu Yamamoto at 17. Mookie's at 25. Will Smith's at 34. He's actually the third highest ranked catcher behind Cal Raleigh and Contreras. Freddie Freeman's at 36. Blake Snell's at 70. And Edwin Diaz is at 73. So that's pretty interesting. When you look at the farm system that the Dodgers have, Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, and Michael Busch are on that list. But think about how wild that is. The fact that the Dodgers, you got 8 players on that list. You also have multiple top 25 players, 4 to be exact. And it kind of shows you the talent, the depth they have. But I also think, too, that you could even make the case for Tyler Glasnow on that list. I think Teoscar Hernandez, when he's at his best, on that list. And it just shows you that this is a team that they've got their superstars, they've got their stars, then they got their third-tier stars. And I think that if I'm looking at this list, the best thing for the Dodgers on this list is if Mookie Betts is maybe 10 or 15 slots higher. So I'm kind of looking at this list on who can get higher on this list and how would that help the Dodgers. Mookie is 25. If Mookie's top 15 with Tucker next season, that means this was a good bounce back year for him. Blake Snell being 70, Diaz as a closer being 73 is good. I think Freddie Freeman as well, but tons of talent. Okay, another walk-off. a bonus walk-off is, do we have the clip of Juan Soto and Vladdy taking that green tea drink off? There's Juan Soto taking Ohtani's green tea. And yes, they have deals with other companies. I get it. I think this is very obviously a Shohei thing. I know this is speculation. I know this is stirring the pot. But what makes me believe, let's run that back one more time, Noel. What makes me believe they knew what they're doing is look at Fernando Tatis Jr.'s reaction. He sees him doing it, and then he's laughing. And look, I actually don't have a problem with this. I really don't. But what I will say is, hey, Soto, hey, Vladdy, hey, Tatis, don't bite the hand that feeds you, okay? Because the better Ohtani does, the better you're going to do. And yes, you guys have your contracts locked in, but the more people that are interested in baseball, the better your sponsorship numbers are going to be. And hopefully you can get a deal like that. But Noel, I mean, you give me your take on this. Do you think that this was intentional? I think it was 100% intentional. I don't think the sure thing's a thing.
That's so funny. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Right?
That's so funny.
I mean, are they not?
That's funny too. And also like they could do that all they want, but like Ohtani beat all 3 of them in the past 2 years.
Facts.
He's ended all these
exactly.
seasons.
Those
So,
are
yeah, like all of them.
no. I mean, that's a long list of like, hey, like those are that's Ohtani's kill list right there. Like, get it. Like they've been beaten by.
Also, like here's the thing. Like I was talking about it beforehand. If it wasn't for the way that Tatis was laughing, then I wouldn't like read into it too much, because Kobe used to do that with body armor. He would move the Gatorade bottles. Once you have a big deal, it's like, yeah, you know that you could, but when the brand is paying you that much, you only want that drink in front of you. But because of how they did it, also we'll run it back one more time. I noticed this too watching it again. So Soto took down all 3 of them in that clip, but then when Vladdy comes in with him in the second clip, I think Vladdy takes down one with him right there. So it's like almost like Soto told him, like, yo, like next time we're in there, we can't have that.
No, 100. Okay, you did it twice. There's no reason for it not to. First of all, I love that drink. I got the pack at Costco last time. It's nice. It's not like too sweet. Like it goes super hard. And yeah, this is. But you know what? Here's the thing though. Here's the funny thing though. Like I know people are dragging them, and you're absolutely right. Like Ohtani beat all those dudes in the postseason last couple of years. But what does Shohei get so much credit for around this time? Is his speech in the WBC.
Yeah.
We can't idolize Trout. We can't idolize Moog. We can't idolize Goldschmidt.
They're not idolizing.
That's like their version of doing that. Like, hey man, like we're going after this dude.
Yeah.
But having said that, like, why don't you guys ball out and get your own endorsement? Because I don't think they got the drinks handled right. Like Shohei is like, oh, you got a shoe deal? That's cute.
Yeah.
Like, I got lotions. I got mattresses. I got food. I got headphones. I got Porsches. Like, oh, I got Hugo Boss. Like, you know, you do your little Jordan deal. That's cute.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so yeah, it'll be really, really interesting to see how like Shohei Ohtani should, Shohei Ohtani, he's got to hit a homer against DR or something. And his celebration, maybe he pulls, like someone throws him one before he touches home plate. He chugs it, right? And like he throws it towards the DR dugout. Like, let's get nasty here.
I tell you, that's the match I want. I know, like, as much as I want, like, USA and Mexico to advance, that real, like, Japan and DR matchup, that would be special.
I'm going to say something that I never thought I would say. I think you have overtaken Tony Taters, as the WBC super fan.
Baby,
like,
man.
And Antonio, you have 24 hours to respond. Does Noel love the WBC more than you? I mean, you do, but you do support a lot of teams in the WBC.
I do.
You support Mexico, Japan, USA. You're like Tony Taters with girlfriends. You've got a lot of teams. He's got a lot of girlfriends.
A lot of side teams.
A lot of side teams, but I respect it. Hey, tonight's going to be awesome. Will For Real says Team USA should break out a Captain America shield. That'd be awesome. I would love to see that. All right, guys. Oh, here's a Paul. I got to get this burning, by the way. Profar just had some leftovers from Tatis. He just didn't want to be wasteful. Come on, man.
Bruh.
Cool. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Dmac_LA. Follow Noise by Noel and read his tweets and Instagrams about the WBC. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again,